but right now we have sunshine. I'm Bob Jenkins. This is Benny Parsons. From all of us to all of you, happy holidays. We're only 4 days from Christmas, Benny, and we had, what, 63 cars and drivers signed in for this thing?
Well, they all understand just how important that exposure is. They feel like television is what got Ron Hornaday the ride with Dale Earnhardt. Television is what caused Greg Biffle to get the ride with Jack Roush. They all want to be here, get that exposure, win on television, and they hope that that success will catapult them right to the next level.
It's obvious that Greg Biffle, who we just heard from and who will be on the pole today, is the man they're shooting for. But who are some of the young drivers that are shooting for him?
Well, you know, Biffle has a huge target on his back, because if they can go out and beat Biffle, they feel like some people will sit up and pay attention. Some of those drivers are Sean Monroe on the outside pole. There's Aaron Newport, 20 years old. Mark Grosskreutz out of the Northwest. Kurt Busch, just 20 years old. And Craig Rodman out of the Southwest part of the United States. All these guys want to win to try to get to that next level.
Well, one driver is certainly not a youngster in the field. In fact, he's not even looked to climb up the racing ladder, so to speak. More on that, here's Bill Weber.
Well, in car 74, you'll find a young guy, young at heart, Carl Trimmer. He's 58 years old. He's been racing 39 years. He's won just about everything you can win at this level, almost 800 career victories, including a winter heat win here 1 year ago. He's the defending Winter Challenge champion, and he's back on his home track to try and whip those young kids once again. He qualified 7th, and a week ago, this past Friday, he became a great-grandfather for the first time when his granddaughter Vicky gave birth to his great-grandson, TJ, born 3 weeks early. I said to the family, that's because TJ didn't want to miss a race. And they said, are you kidding? It's because he didn't want to miss Christmas. Now, 2 guys that definitely have Santa checking his list twice. Bob Jenkins and Benny Parsons.
And we have found, Bill, that you've been naughty and not nice, so you're getting coal for Christmas, right? Let's take a look at the qualifying procedures for today's race. The first 22 were determined by time trials. 23rd and 24th starting positions determined by Tucson Raceway Park points, and then 25 through 28 came out of the B main. As far as the race procedures are concerned, the regular 200 laps in 2 100-lap segments.
There will be a break at the lap 100. They about 10 minutes to work on the car. They can change any 2 tires. Caution laps do count except the last 10 laps, and this race will end under the green flag. If they have a caution flag on the white flag lap, they'll revert back and green-white checker.
Here's the starting lineup. The first 15, Greg Biffle and Sean Monroe, then Wayne Cassidy and Aaron Newport, Mark Grosskreutz, John Sewell, Carl Trimmer and Kurt Busch, Mike Duncan and Jimmy Hudson, Roger Mears Jr. back in 11th starting position, Jeff Hibner is 12th, then Craig Rodman, Herschel McGriff Jr., and Kevin Harvick.
Let's look at 16 through 28. Tom Sweatman, Derek Gilchrist out of Raleigh, North Carolina, Darren Shaw, Eric Sayre, David Manthei, Terry Henry, Mike Mendenhall, Dennis Fetter, Ned Champagne, Michael Ray, Brad Rhodes, Charles Utz, and Toby Butler. Ray, Rhodes, Utz, and Butler all through the B main to get into today's race.
And we have an onboard camera riding with Charles Utz, who starts from the back of the pack, the Lucas Oil Products onboard camera. And the field right now is being given the 1 lap to go signal. Pace car will depart the racetrack back in turn number 3 and will go set for 100 laps of racing in the first half of the first race, actually, of the Triple Crown. The race number 1, of course, was rained out here, so there will only be 2 races that make up the so-called Triple Crown. Green flag is out. We've got a spin already as Wayne Cassidy loops. Cassidy is going in the right direction, but the caution flag will come out and we'll have a complete restart.
Wow. Some of those drivers hated to see that because Biffle had a great jump, but now we'll have to. Now Biffle will have to try to get the jump on Sean Monroe once again. This racetrack, Tucson Raceway Park, is a multi-bank. What I mean is the bottom groove is bank 6 degrees, the middle groove is bank 9, and the top groove is bank 12 degrees. So it really lends itself to some great passing, although the 12 degrees on top of the racetrack does seem to be the fastest way around the racetrack.
Let's take a look again at what happened. Cassidy starting in 3rd position, just doesn't get bumped or anything, just loses it on acceleration.
He nailed the accelerator because in second gear, and those tires very cold. It's pretty chilly here in Tucson today. For desert temperatures, probably around 60 degrees. He nailed the gas with those cold tires, and around he goes. But not all is not lost. He will restart in third spot where he qualified.
Yeah, and there was no harm done to anyone. He was able to slide to the inside of the racetrack without being hit by any other car, and so we'll do it one more time.
This is Cassidy. That 43 car just spun out. This is his first year in the late models. He was the limited late model champion here at Tucson Raceway Park in 1997. That's taken that big jump upwards.
He's 43 years of age from right here in Tucson. So let's try it again here. Down the backstretch, Greg Biffle is the pole sitter in the black number 16. Sean Monroe flanks him in the white, orange, and blue car number 48. 28 cars set to go. Let's see what happens here on restart number 2. Again, Biffle with a good lead. And this time, everybody through turn 4 in good shape.
Oh, we've got more trouble.
It's Cassidy once again. More cars are spinning as they are hit from behind. Also, the 76 car of Kurt Busch is involved. I don't think there's going to be any major damage here that will require anybody to visit the pits, with the possible exception of Cassidy, who is again at the top of the racetrack. There's Kurt Busch, and there is Cassidy. He's the only car that has not gotten restarted at this point, so it's been a tough couple of laps.
No, Kurt Busch is going to the pit area.
Yep.
Kurt Busch, the 76 car, there we see Cassidy sitting there.
And David Manthey is also going to the pit area. Well, let's take a look at this and see what happened.
There's Cassidy on the inside. That's Kurt Busch up on the high side. They go in the corner. There, they make contact just about the time they're going to turn in the corner. And here's what happened to the 76 car Busch. He makes pretty heavy contact with the outside retaining wall and broke some of the suspension. And there we see, it looks like the 4 car of Manthey.
So we are off to a rather slow start here at Raceway Park in Tucson, as a couple of caution flags have come out already. We'll take a break and be right back with more. So the NASCAR late models brought to you by DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Okay, we're getting set to go green now after another caution. This one up in turns 3 and 4 on lap number 2. These laps under caution are counting. And here from another angle is what happened up there in turn 3.
43 car Cassidy on the inside. That's Kurt Busch on the outside. They make contact just about the time they're at the end of the corner. And there the 76 goes up, smacks the wall, and then spins. But here we see Hibner in the 70. That's Herschel McGriff Jr. in 18 car, barely get by. We didn't see the 4 car of Manthey. Manthey hit the wall hard, but I think another angle will show this. Maybe this angle will show it. There's Manthey just as he comes into the. Now we'll see if we can tell. Go back, and to the right of the screen we're going to see the 4 car. There he is up against the outside retaining wall,
and his car remains back in the pit area. Bill Weber standing by with one of the drivers involved.
And that's the very young and disappointed Kurt Busch. He'd had a great weekend here up until this. What happened out there?
It was just a first lap deal. I went down into turn 3 up on the high side, had the line, and the guy just decided that he wanted to be there too. It was unfortunate that he didn't move over. I don't know what to say. It's too bad. We had bad luck with Southwest Tour, and we'll be back next time in Tour, though. We might be back next time in late model. I don't know. This is a deal I put together this Thursday, so I just need to thank Jerry Spilsbury for giving me this opportunity, and my sponsor, Star Nursery. Well, we'll give it another shot.
Okay, looks like he's out for today. Very disappointed, but I'm sure we'll see him again. A promising young star on the horizon, Kurt Busch. Remember that name.
Kurt Busch won his first late model race in his first start at Las Vegas earlier this year. There's the number 0 car of Toby Butler. You can see some damage there to the front end of his car. So we have 2 cars, Busch and Manthey, who are back in the garage, the pit area, and Wayne Cassidy has lost a lap because of the incident. Everybody else on the lead lap, and we'll go racing in one more circuit. We'll take a look at a field summary to show you where everybody is running at the moment.
I wonder if Toby Butler's hood is going to stay on at speed. Probably not. Bill Summer, you can see where all the fellows are running. Craig Rodman started 13th, already up to 9th spot. So here we go. Green flag in the air.
John Sewell and Aaron Newport running side by side in battle for 3rd spot.
And Carl Trimmer, that yellow car coming up behind them. There's Trimmer going down to the inside, taking over 4th spot.
So the veteran of Tucson Raceway Park, Carl Trimmer, the defending champion of the late model series in winter heat, has already moved up to 4th spot. Now John Sewell in the 99 car begins to challenge Sean Monroe for 2nd, as Greg Biffle has, for the most part, checked out. Already got more than a 2nd lead on this battle. Sewell in the 99 and Sean Monroe in the 48.
Monroe in the 48 had a great finish here last week in the Southwest Featherlight Tour in his 2nd spot.
Terry Henry, we understand, has pulled off the racetrack and has gone back to the pit area. He is the guy that normally is the crew chief for Sean Monroe.
Showed up this week at Tucson, and some fellow said, drive my race car, and Terry Henry said, well, sure, I'll be more than glad to do that. As Trimmer is trying to go by Sewell for 3rd spot.
Yeah, while Sewell and Monroe were kind of running side by side there for a while, Carl Trimmer has come up to now take over 3rd position and is right on the back bumper of Sean Monroe, looking for 2nd.
And some of our observers tell us that Greg Biffle is smoking.
Well, he was in warm-ups this morning, Benny. I don't know whether there's anything to be concerned about or not, but he was doing the same thing earlier this morning.
It's not a lot of smoke, but he definitely is smoking a little bit. As never see Biffle, but as you can visual, we can see just a trace of smoke here in the booth. Meanwhile, Trimmer's trying to get by Sean Monroe. John Sewell is going to try to go to the inside, but I think that might cost Sewell a spot as Aaron Newport drives to the outside of Sewell.
And a couple of other guys are in this battle, too. The number 9 car, the black, yellow, and white car, is Mike Duncan, and right behind him is Grosskreutz in the 72. So a really good battle here for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Down to Bill Weber with more on Carl Trimmer, who's currently in 3rd spot.
Well, Carl Trimmer qualified 7th. He wasn't very happy about that. And he said he qualified poorly because the engine cluttered. After they got that problem taken care of, he wasn't happy with the handling of his car. So his son, Rick, who is his crew chief, called the people at Penske Shocks. They run Penske Shocks, wanted to try and get a handle with the problem. So they called one of the big guys from Penske Shocks at home yesterday afternoon. He told them how to change the shocks. They called him again this morning. The caution is out. The 0 car is stopped on the racetrack, guys.
That is Toby Butler, and he was stopped in between turns 1 and 2. The car is rolling once again and may be headed back to the pits.
Looks like he has starts had a right front tire flat, but a right side tire flat, but evidently that's not the case.
Well, he had moved up pretty well from his last starting position, but things have gone wrong here for Toby Butler. They're the top 5 after 24 of 200 laps. Backstretch still leading here over Monroe, Trimmer, Newport, and Sewell as the 28th lap is completed. Make that 28 laps completed.
Ever see the 97 car, Kevin Harvick on the inside of Duncan. That's a battle for the 7th spot. There's one leader.
Driver who has really moved up, Benny, since the start of the race is Charles Utz, who's carrying our onboard camera. He started 27th, and he's up to 15th, and he was one of the transferees from the B main.
Well, speaking of Charles Utz, there he is. The Lucas Oil Products onboard camera.
Just ahead of him is Eric Sayer in 53, and beside him, every once in a while, you can see a glimpse of the other car that he's in a battle with.
It's Herschel McGriff Jr., then 18 car.
Clear.
Mike Mendenhall in the 12 car. As he tries to follow, goes by McGriff. Trying his best to follow Charles Utz up through the field. '66 car Utz, we told you that he transferred from the B main. On the initial start of the B main race, he broke the shifter off. And he got out of the way, forced it for him. So there was another crash during that first lap that reverted back to a 2 abreast start of the race. He was able to go in and get a new shifter on while they got the wreck cleaned up. He goes back to his 3rd spot and was able to transfer to the A main.
Well, Charles has now moved up to 13th position, putting Sayer and Mendenhall both behind him. Our onboard camera looks back on Sayer, and now here is the battle for 4th position. Sewell to the inside in the multicolored car, number 99, and that's Aaron Newport in the white 15 with Mark Grosskreutz in 72 looking on.
And Sewell that time got just a little bit loose as he came off that second corner. It cost him a position, and he and Grosskreutz in 72 did get together coming off the corner. And here comes Mike Duncan in the 9 car trying to work his way towards the front.
He's had a pretty impressive run here in the first 38 laps of this race. There you see the top 5 in our field summary and where they started. Harvick has moved up from 15th to 8th. Rodman from 13th to 9th.
Utz started 27th, as we've been telling you now, up to 13th spot.
And he has just picked up another position, so he's up to 12th now. 75 car of Derek Gilchrist is slow down into turn number 1 with some smoke coming from that car. I don't know, BP, what do you think?
The rear housing, the Panhard bar, that rear stabilizer bar that holds the rear end in the center of the body, is broken.
So that's going to necessitate another caution.
See how the left rear is stuck out of the left side of the body?
We understand he did make contact with the wall on the backstretch that probably caused this problem.
Doesn't take much because these tires are sticking out. That's what makes contact with the wall, is not the body, it's the tires themselves. And it doesn't take a large blow to break that rod I was talking about that keeps that rear housing centered on the body.
Derek comes to us from Raleigh, North Carolina, finished 8th in the 1996 Slim Jim All-Pro point standings. Greg Biffle continues to lead here at Tucson. The green flag is Wednesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve at 9 o'clock. The marathon runs through Christmas Day from the 83 Carolina 500 at Rockingham to the 88 Budweiser 400 from Riverside and all points in between. We'll have 2 marathons, one on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and one on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. The first one Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Okay, green is flying again. We're back to racing.
Kevin Harvick in 97 diving to the inside of Grosskreutz, trying to take a spot away. Didn't work. That was the battle for 7th spot.
Every time BP, Biffle has just kind of driven away from everybody, hasn't he?
I tell you, he gets great restarts, just terrific restarts.
That's Monroe and running in 2nd spot, and Carl Trimmer in 3rd. Then Newport, Sewell, Duncan, Grosskreutz, and Harvick. Completing the top 10, Rodman and Hibner.
And this is not Greg Biffle's car that he's driving. This flag number 16 belongs to Scott McGran. It's got Kinko construction on the quarter panel. There you see it.
That last lap was 85.152 miles an hour. Nobody else is running in the 85 mile an hour bracket. Second quick was was Sean Monroe. More on Greg Biffle from Bill Weber.
And Biffle's car continues to smoke. I talked to his crew. They say it's a carburetor problem, and it may also be a valve-related problem. I will also tell you this, not only are we watching it, but so is NASCAR. They've already talked to the crew about it to make sure he's not dropping any fluid on the racetrack.
Okay, we'll watch for that as he continues to lead. As you can see, he's headed for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in a Jack Roush ride. Charles Utz had a little bit of a problem under caution as I guess we're going back to green. Little contact with the 75 with Gilchrist.
That's Gilchrist. And there we see, there's where Gilchrist hit the wall that broke that rear panhard bar we're talking about. Oh, and Craig Rodman spins down the front stretch.
Does a beautiful spin and a half, and Cassidy makes contact with him.
I don't know that the contact was that severe as Rodman gets going again. Well,
Cassidy's got quite a bit of damage on the right front of his car, BP.
He sure does.
You'll see it here as he comes around 3 and 4. There it is.
And Rodman's car is driving like he has either a flat tire or the rear panhard bar is broken.
Don't believe he lost a lap, though. Let's take a look at what happened. As you can see, the right front fender is peeled away from his car. Here it is again.
Oh, we see some contact.
Darren Shaw in 77, I think, had contact with him that spun him around.
And he does a great job. All the cars miss him. One more angle. And there we see where the two tires meet. Around goes Rodman. And the left rear tire is flat. It knocked, when the 77 car hit him, it knocked the air out of the left rear tire. And there's the damage that he has to the right rear. Also the damage on the right front. But I don't think that would hurt the car if he hadn't had the flat tire.
Well, Wayne Cassidy has had nothing but problems here in the first 55 laps of this race. He's been involved in 3 different incidents. And the 70 car of Jeff Hibner, we understand, 77 car of Darren Shaw that did make contact with Rodman, is being black flagged.
Being black flagged by NASCAR because of the contact.
55 laps completed here. We're going to lap 100. Then we'll take a break and come back for 100 more on NASCAR's Winter Heat here on the Deuce. For Winter Heat, a lot of work on back there in the pit area, Bill.
Absolutely, Bob. Wayne Cassidy is just backing out from his stall right now. Heavy sheet metal damage on the right side of his car. He's going to go jump back into the race. Rodman's already been back to his pit. He has a new left rear tire, some cosmetic damage, and some tape on the right side. Now, both very disappointed and both have lost laps, but we'll try and get back out there and at least get some track time.
Both of them, as a matter of fact, lost 3 laps, and they are shown currently in 21st and 22nd position. Getting set to go back to green flag racing. Greg Biffle still at the front of the field with Monroe, Trimmer, Newport, and Sewell completing the top 5, and the green is waving once again. 60 laps have been completed, only 40 more to the halfway break.
Grosskreutz in 72 dove down to the inside trying to take the spot away from Duncan. Battle for 6th spot, not able to do it. See Grosskreutz in 72, Duncan in 9.
Mark Grosskreutz from Spokane, Washington, 22nd in the 96-97 Winter Heat Winston Challenge Series.
Young man, Mark Grosskreutz. The Wide World of Map is a sponsor on his car. Folks out of Phoenix, Arizona. Also give an award here for the driver that gains the most spots. And right now, that would be Charles Utz. Started 27th, I believe. Has now moved up to 10th spot. Yep. Speaking of Charles Utz, you know, it's like that director is just working right in my mind.
I'm telling you.
I mentioned him, and boom, there's where we go.
There you can see the progress that Charles has made from his 27 starting position. Gained 15 in the first 23 laps, and now is up to the top 10. This is the Lucas Oil Products onboard camera. Just ahead of him is Harvick. That battle continues between Duncan in number 9 and Grosskreutz in 72. That's Jeff Hibner in number 70. It's
Kevin Harvick in 97 right behind them, and Utz is the next car. Charles Utz in their onboard camera, Lucas Oil car. Trimmer is really struggling getting around the racetrack. That's the yellow car right in front of there. There's Duncan. We've shown him the 9 car. And that's something we don't normally see at Tucson is Carl Trimmer struggling to get around the racetrack.
He's still in 3rd spot, but has dropped back now to about a 2.5 seconds behind Greg Biffle. Aaron Newport is right there with him as we continue to watch this battle between Duncan and Grosskreutz. Mark to the inside of the track again, trying to get around Duncan. And now Aaron Newport challenges Carl Trimmer for that 3rd spot. You're right. Carl's going to be looking for that halfway point to make some adjustments on that car.
Yes, he is. And I'm sure that's what Rick, his son, is telling him. Look how loose that car is in the corner.
Kidding. Wow.
I'm sure as Rick, his son, and crew chief is telling us that Dad, or Carl he calls him, just hang on for another 20 laps and we'll be able to make some adjustments and get it better for you.
58-year-old Carl Trimmer, the defending champion of the Winston Challenge Series here at Tucson Raceway Park in Winter Heat. He's been driving race cars for 39 years. John Sewell moves the 99 car down to the inside of Aaron Newport now. Some pretty good racing going on back here for 3rd on back, but the first 2, Biffle and Monroe, are pretty much racing by themselves. Monroe, in fact, is about a 2nd behind Biffle.
And look at John Sewell. He's able to get by the 15 car of Newport and trying his best to get by Carl Trimmer. And looks like he'll be able to pull it off.
Yep. Sewell is another local driver, hails from here in Tucson. He finished 2nd in Sunbelt points in the NASCAR late model series in 96 and 97. 2nd to Carl Trimmer both years.
And Newport about to lose another position to Grosskreutz. As we obviously Grosskreutz has been able to get by Duncan in the 9 car. Now Mark Grosskreutz, 72, goes to work on Trimmer.
And Newport, I think, had thoughts maybe of making it 3 wide, but that isn't going to work. Oh, look at Trimmer. Look at Trimmer. He is really having a struggle here.
Yes, he is. He is struggling.
Well, there's some fluid on the onboard lens, Benny. I wonder where that's coming from. And remember now, Biffle has been smoking practically all race long, and we wonder if it might be coming from him, but
it wouldn't be that far because
right.
Biffle is
about a half a lap, almost a half a lap. I think.
Yeah, that's coming from either Charles Utz's car or one of those cars directly in front of him.
And look at Trimmer. He has fallen all the way back now to almost out of the top 10, isn't he?
I think that is 10th spot. I think he's now in 11th. Bill Weber, what's going on with Trimmer?
Benny, I talked to Carl just before this race started, and remember we talked about how they made a shock change, changed just 1 shock, and they also made a bar change at that same time. He said he was sure the car was going to be good for 50 laps, but after that he was very concerned. Obviously, his car is very loose now. He's struggling just to try and get to the halfway break so they can make those adjustments. But he had a feeling that after 50 laps, the handle on his car was going to go away, and that's pretty incredible for a guy that literally helped build this racetrack.
Well, he's made contact with the outside retaining. See his left side tires, how black they are? Look at the right rear as the camera follows it down, and you'll see that it's white. Watch that right rear. You see how white it is? So that means he's made contact with the outside retaining wall.
And it's like a white wall almost.
It does.
Yeah. That's Eric Sayer in 53 that he's battling next to. And we understand he may have some time.
Oh, he got a spin off the 2nd corner. And that will probably bring out the, yes, it does, brings out a caution flag.
Oh, and the 00 car is also into the wall.
Oh, man.
That's Ned Champagne, number 13, that spun originally. And then the 00 car of Brad Rhodes came along and ran up on another car. And then when that contact ended, he had hit the outside retaining wall in the backstretch almost head on.
That's a tough break. What a nice young man Brad Rhodes is. Had to get in through the B main today, but was able to do it.
28-year-old driver from Pasco, Washington. We see a lot of guys from the Pacific Northwest come down here, even a driver from British Columbia that comes down and runs the Winter Heat Series.
I've been to Pasco, Washington.
Yeah?
Yep.
Ed Champagne was the other driver involved in this incident, who was the Rookie of the Year here at Tucson Raceway Park during the regular season.
That's too bad. Looked like some pretty heavy damage. When the radiator leaks water immediately, that's pretty good damage to that automobile.
Well, 84 laps are now in the books here. We only got 16 more to go. We'll spend a few laps under caution here while this latest accident is cleaned up over in the backstretch. We'll be right back. 13 more laps to the halfway break here at NASCAR Winter Heat, featuring today the Winston Challenge Triple Crown late models. Well, tonight at 8 o'clock, take a trip back to New Orleans and the 1983 Sugar Bowl. Heisman Trophy winner Herschel Walker led the Georgia Bulldogs to the #1 ranking and ran into a championship battle against the #2 rated Penn State Nittany Lions. This and other fantastic Classic college football games can be found on Classic Sports Network. If you don't have it, contact your local cable operator and tell them that you do. That's
Classic college football game is kind of hard to spit out there.
Yes, it is, but I stumbled through it just like a pro, didn't I? All right, you describe this replay here of what happened over in turn 2 and in the backstretch.
Well, Ned Champagne in the 9 car is going to spin. 13 car, actually, is going to spin. Right here, he makes contact. Oh, my goodness, there.
That's Champagne there.
That's right. Now, that's Rhodes and Double Zero that ran up on the other car, and he gets out of steers. He gets behind on his steering and just head on in the wall. That was Mike Mendenhall that he ran up on. Thank you very much, Bob.
You're welcome. Try to help you out here.
Another angle. That's Champagne sitting there in the 9 car. And there we go. Oh, there he makes contact, and it just turns him head on in the wall. But it was good to see him get out of the car because that was heavy contact.
Down to Bill Weber.
And Brad, you're okay, but that was quite a lick.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard hit. Boy, it jolted me pretty good. I'm not used to hitting that hard. It was a pretty hard hit.
That's got to be a terrifying feeling when you look up and you had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to pass a guy on the low side, got under him, and come down on me a little bit, I think. And then there was a parked car there, and just nowhere to go. Just put her in there, and away we went into the wall.
See you again?
I don't know, maybe. We'll see what happens. Pretty good lick.
Okay, that's Brad Rhodes. He said he's got a little lower back pain, but other than that, he's doing okay.
And the 00 car of Rhodes is still on the racetrack. They're loading it onto a hauler back there. Here's the top 15, Benny. We'll see where everybody's running and where they have come from. Utz still leads in terms of gaining the most positions from 27th up to 8th spot. Mendenhall, who was involved in that incident, has moved up 10 positions, and here is everybody else now. 17 cars are on the lead lap, and we have 4 cars that are officially out of the race, and 1, Aaron Bush, who has is continuing to work on his car. Work continues there in the backstretch.
Well, they finally got the 00 car loaded. Looked like they're having a lot of trouble doing that. Well, they still don't. It's 3/4 on, but I guess they're going to at least get it back to the garage area. Man, a lot of contact, hard contact.
And a lot of fluid also spilled over there from the radiator that was broken.
Yeah, Brad Rhodes would probably be able to fix that car in the next 2 weeks, but the question is, where are we going to find the money to fix the car in the next 2 weeks?
Which is the dilemma of many, many drivers in this form of racing.
We know the radiator's gone. We know that the front frame section is gone, plus all the steering, and very expensive.
Benny, a driver who had been here at Tucson Raceway Park since we started coming here, who unfortunately is not with us in the 1997-98 series, is Chris Trickle. Of course, he was the victim of a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas a few months ago. Chris continues to be in a coma. He is racking up a lot of hospital bills, and we felt that we should do something while we were out here because we were very fond of him, and so we're going to have a benefit for him in 3 weeks' time.
And this is exactly the gentleman that we're talking about. The driver of the Star Nursery car, Chris Trickle. He ran so well here. There he is in the late model race. Also had a NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour car. But as you said, been in Tacoma since last year, and we're going to try our best to get something together for him on January 10th as we come off and take the green flag. We'll get back to Chris Trickle in just a moment. The 9 car of Duncan has been black flagged. He had some piece of aluminum dragging. He had to repair that.
And Sean Monroe now has his hands full with John Sewell. Monroe had been able to move away from everybody else on the previous restarts, but not this time, as Sewell and Gross Flights and Newport and Harvick and Hibner all keep right up with him. Biffle drives away though a little bit.
Biffle's been able to do that on each and every restart. As a matter of fact, that 99 car that running in 3rd spot, Greg Biffle built that car. It came out of his shop up in Washington.
And we're very near the halfway break. This will complete lap number 99. They will get the caution flag on lap number 100. The pace car will pick them up on that lap and lead them around and then send them to their respective pits. So the caution should be coming out next time around as the battle for second place continues. Sewell tries to get to the inside of Sean Monroe. And there is the flag. Let's see who's going to end up second here in the first half. That was very, very close. I think Monroe did by just a couple of inches.
By inches is right. I talked about Duncan being black flagged. As a matter of fact, Mike Duncan lost a couple of laps in that 9 car who ran.
He is back on the racetrack, however. Is back in 17th position, though, as the halfway point has arrived. The pace car is now on the racetrack. There is Duncan. And now Bill Weber will get busy back in the pit area and visit several drivers and crews and find out what changes they'll be making on their cars, if any, in the second half of the NASCAR Winston Challenge here at Tucson Raceway Park. Happy holidays from all of us to all of you. We're at winter heat, and the green flag has just gone out for the start of the second half of the race. 3/4 of a lap now completed. Again, Biffle out to a tremendous start. And look at Kevin Harvick in the 97 car to the bottom of the track in that orange and blue 97.
Well, Kevin's trying to go somewhere, isn't he?
Sure is.
He's gotten by Grosskreutz. He's gotten by Newport. Trying to get by Sewell. And next, he's going to be working on Sean Monroe.
Harvick from Bakersfield, California, only 21 years of age. Had 2 late model wins earlier this year at the Bakersfield track. Ran the Craftsman Truck Series, of course, for 12 races and a few top 10 finishes in 97. And he is all the way up to second. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Now Sean Monroe drops to the bottom of the track.
Kevin Harvick is heading for the front.
Closing in on Biffle, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
This is the Lucas onboard camera from Charles Utz, who's running back in 8th spot.
It's Aaron Newport directly in front of him. There we see Utz in the red-white 66, followed by Carl Trimmer.
Since we went green, everybody's kind of playing it cautious right now, but the only advancement has been Harvick, and he right now is just a little more than a half second behind Greg Biffle in second position. Carl Trimmer still hanging in there in the 9th position.
There's Newport 15, Utz 66, 74 Trimmer. And there's Roger Mears Jr. behind him in the 11 car behind Trimmer at 10th spot. There's a battle for 3rd spot. Sean Monroe in 48. 99 car of John Sewell.
Sewell taking a look to the inside in turn number 3. Pulls alongside Sean Monroe, but Monroe holds off the challenge at the moment.
California. John Sewell from right here in Tucson, Arizona. Lovely Tucson, Arizona.
Sean finished third in this Featherlight Southwest Tour event.
And Biffle is starting to open the gap on Kevin Harvick. As a matter of fact, Harvick is coming back to Sean Monroe and John Sewell. There we see.
Yeah, that advantage now that Biffle has over Harvick has grown to more than a second and a half, and it was less than a half second just a few laps ago. So Greg beginning to pull away now a little bit. I don't see the smoke. Let's see if we can see that he goes into turn number one.
Yes, there's still a little bit of smoke there, but it's not. You can see it that time on your screen, but it's not that bad. Biffle comes off the corner. He was in Walt Disney World this week testing the Jack Roush Ford.
They had, what, 60-some trucks there that were involved in the test, practice, and I think Greg unofficially wound up about 18th fastest.
Yes, Ron Hornaday. There we see the truck testing results. Ron Hornaday, Skinner, Bliss, Sprague all ran the same speed. And you see Biffle was unofficially 18th. All these speeds were taken with handheld watches, so.
Not a real official, but you can get an idea of how well he did run. Okay, here's the battle now. Grosskreutz and Hibner as they battle for 5th position.
Well, Jeff Hibner made a big gain from 2 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago the race was rained out. He had to take the provisional to get into the field, and here he is battling for the 5th spot this race just 2 weeks later.
Hibner's 34 years of age from here in Tucson. He finished 4th in the points here at Tucson Raceway Park during the regular season, won 2 races, and also won the award for the best appearing car. Sponsored by Steve Dix, attorney at law.
Well, if he happens to hit Grosskreutz, at least he'll have an attorney. Oh, a little bit of contact there.
Sean Monroe and Harvick are banging against each other. Monroe to the inside of Harvick. Looks like Sean Monroe got a good run off the corner that time, but Harvick stays alongside him as they go wheel to wheel through the 3rd and 4th turns. And Monroe takes 2nd again.
And that was a Sean Monroe spotter. Telling that he was clear.
John Sewell is looking for 3rd spot here, also on the bottom of the track, and he's going to get it. So Harvick got off to a really good restart and was hanging in there with Biffle, but now he's fallen back.
We had someone, I guess it was Ron Eaton last week, tell us that, you know, that you have to, if you're going to run on the bottom of the racetrack, you've got to do it real quick, and the car really needs to be set up for the top. And evidently Harvick's car was set up to run really quick on the bottom of the racetrack, and when he moved to the top, it's just not fast enough.
Let's go on board with Charles Utz. Now, this is a replay of something that happened a few laps ago. That's Aaron Newport in car 15. He was loose getting out of the corner, and Utz had some contact with him.
It was even looser when Utz ran in the back of him, wasn't he?
Newport was in the top 10, but he has now fallen back to 11th position, while Charles is up to 7th. So Greg Biffle continues to lead here. He's led all the way so far in this Winston Challenge Series event from Tucson in winter heat. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The 6th caution of the race has come out on lap 128. It was over in turn number 3 when 34-year-old Tom Sweatman went around. Let's see if he had some help or what happened.
Yeah, he and the 12-car Mendenhall made a little bit of contact getting in the corner, just enough that Tom Sweatman, or Sweathawk as we affectionately call him, spun going. That's not Sweathawk's car. He came here, blew an engine in his car yesterday, and borrowed that car from John Baker. So at least he didn't tear Baker's car up that badly.
Yep. Well, he's right where he started, in 16th position. And he is a lap down. Well, there is quite a bit of money available, and these money amounts mean a lot of things for these late model drivers. $5,000 to the winner of the series, $2,500 to second, on down through 10th position, which picks up $500.
Signal's been given from the flag stand. 1 lap to go.
And 133 laps will be completed when they get the green flag. It'll come out on lap 134.
Well, right now, Biffle is catching a break. There's a couple of slow cars between he and the second place car, Sean Monroe. He has Mike Duncan and Michael Ray in 98.
But Monroe quickly disposes of Ray in the 98 car. And Greg Biffle begins already to pull away from the rest of the field. Up from 27th starting spot to 7th at the moment. Roger Mears Jr. is running in a 9th spot. And you can see that there are 14 cars still on the lead lap.
Monroe in 48.
Dave, you're all clear. Come on. Run her hard.
Spotter for Sean Monroe. And Biffle, both those cars able to get by Mike Duncan in the 9 car. It seemed like those two cars, the Sewell and Monroe, have been glued together for about 100 laps now.
They have been together almost all race long. While those guys were trying to get around the 9 car of Duncan, Greg Biffle established a 1.8-second lead. Them. Biffle running that time 84.459 miles an hour, and the second fastest was the 99 at 83.395. It was just a little bit faster than Sean Monroe. Sewell was that last lap. Harvick and Hibner, 97 and 70, and Mark Grosskreutz in 72. All those cars going for 4th and 5th position.
Had some contact last time between Hibner and the 97 car. We do have a caution flag out now.
Aaron Newport has spun over in the backstretch, car 15. Aaron Newport. Newport spins over in the backstretch, loses a lap. He was on the lead lap, but not anymore. We're going to take another break. We'll be right back with more from Tucson. 141 laps completed. Hanukkah, whatever, happy holidays from all of us to all of you, and everybody here at Tucson Raceway Park also sends along their holiday wishes. Green flag is back out. We are racing once again. The number 2 car of Craig Rodman was black flagged because there was apparently contact between him and Aaron Newport, so he's lost a lap. We're back to green flag racing.
Contact between the 97 and 70 that time. Us is on the outside of Grosskreutz, trying to take over that spot. That's a battle for 6th spot. Grosskreutz has no choice now to try to go to the front on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yep, he's kind of forced down there. But again, because of the different banking as you go up from the inside to the outside of the track, the banking gets a little steeper, and so you can run side by side through here without a problem.
Charles Judge up to 6th spot. Right back in 27. Charles, you just got to learn to qualify better. That's
That's right.
Racing's great.
right ahead of him is Hibner in the black number 70 and Harvick in the 97. Now Harvick to the inside, or rather Hibner to the inside of Harvick.
Watch this. Almost in contact there. Greg Biffle still continues to lead Sean Monroe by almost 2 seconds. Mark Rostrikes right behind. There's that moisture again that we've seen all day.
You can see the storm clouds that are beginning to gather here at Tucson, but there's no rain imminent. Moisture is coming off of some cars.
Does that mean you don't believe it's going to rain anytime soon?
Not soon. I think they're saying around 6 o'clock. The weather is expected to roll in now. Most Wrights and Utz are still together. Oh, are they?
Yes. Did you say together?
And here comes Hibner.
Wayne Cassidy in the 43 car. He and Sweatman 61. They're not in the same lap. Cassidy is 4 laps down in the 43 car.
Sweatman is a lap down there. The white number 61.
I'll tell you one thing. Sweatman is going to the front, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's passed Utz. He's now going past the 97 car of Harvick. It's a shame that he's a lap down. Oh, and Utz just gets kind of broomed out of the way by the 11 car of Roger Mears.
And look at Carl Trimmer back there in 74. Trimmer has not made as much of an advancement as we thought he might. He's still back in 9th spot. And now, the 11 car of Mears and Harvick are battling for position.
That's what those British folks had in mind when they cloned those sheep, wasn't it? Almost identical.
Yep.
Ooh, and Harvick almost spins as he tries to avoid hitting Mears. He comes off the corner, and Roger Mears now is going towards the front. 6th spot.
That is the son of Roger Mears, who ran at Indianapolis a few years in off-road desert races, and the nephew of Rick Mears, who won the Indy 500 4 times. There is Biffle, and he is just driving away from everybody.
It's Mike Duncan there. Actually, there's a battle for 2nd spot between Monroe and Sewell, and so what else is new? They've been racing all afternoon, and they continue to do so, and they're about 3.5 seconds behind Greg Biffle, the leader.
Very good. 3.56 to be exact.
The line that one right there. Those corners.
162 laps have been completed. Sean Monroe and John Sewell trying to make a bit of a race out of it, but Greg Biffle, the leader, is about 3 3/4 seconds now ahead of him. Caution is out here at Tucson Raceway Park. Oil on the racetrack is the reason that the pace has been slowed. Comes out on lap 168.
And he could be from Wayne Cassidy. There we see the 43 car, the Richard Petty look-alike. He goes by, comes off turn 2. We see the heavy smoke out of the car as he goes down the backstretch. As he goes in turn 3, we start seeing fire.
Yep.
Obviously, oil, gas, something under the car, and pretty doggone good blaze. Bill Weber, what's going on with that car? Do you know?
Well, they're looking underneath, and I'm standing here with Wayne Cassidy, who's had a lot of great days in racing, but Wayne, this wasn't one of them. What's the latest problem there?
I have no idea. They said something about an oil line broke off the rear end. I don't know for sure. It was, it came pretty good, bringing back to me pretty good right after the break. I went back out there and I was able to turn wherever I wanted to and got in behind a few guys and got under them. And Carl was wounded. I was trying to stay with Carl without getting in his way. He was on the lead lap. I didn't want to screw him up. And then when I had an opportunity to go around him, I went around him and it felt good. Then right before the guy said I got a problem, I smelled something and and then they said get it off the track, and I just came off.
Difficult at the start, too. Some early problems for you.
Yeah, on the restart, I guess I hit it too hard. That Dorton motor had more than I thought it had, I guess, and it came off from under me on the start. And then the second time, I took a line behind the 72 car, and I thought I was clear, and I guess that other guy wanted the line worse than I did. And we got together, and you know, the rest is history.
Okay, and his day is pretty much history, too. Wayne Cassidy back in the garage area. They've also sent Kevin Harvick back here as well.
And the truck is out on the racetrack, putting some oil dry down, trying to make the track raceable once again. Just 30 laps to go here in Tucson. Greg Biffle still leads. The caution to a red. It's nothing serious. Simply want to give the track crew time to get this mess cleaned up and not count any more laps in this race. So they're under red for the moment while they put the oil dry down. It shouldn't be very long. 173 laps have now been completed, and we are on hold. Well, you can catch up with all the latest racing news with your host tonight, Bob Stevens. RPM tonight, an hour later than usual at 9 Eastern Time. We'll have the report on the Ford Taurus testing, a conversation with Darrell Waltrip, and more on that Craftsman Truck Series test from Orlando and Walt Disney World Speedway. That's 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern, RPM tonight. Car stopping over in the backstretch while the track crew goes to work. And we understand that the temperature has dropped 10 degrees since the beginning of this race, so that weather may be moving in. Bill?
Kevin Harvick was one of those guys testing a truck, but today you were driving a rocket at the beginning of the second half of this race. What happened to your car?
Looks like the rear end seal on the right rear hub came apart and started blowing all over the tire. We're good while it was dry. I tell you what, the HPS plumbing car, it was good today. Want to say hi to Les's family at home and Wayne and Connie Spears, but I tell you what, we had a heck of a race car the second half, I think.
What'd you do at halftime? Because you were fast on lap 102.
It was a little tight in the center in the first half. We changed the right rear spring, and that was it. But the whole deal just kind of went up in smoke right there, and but we'll be back.
How's your truck?
Truck's good. We went really good in Orlando. Excited about next year with the Spears Chevrolet, so hopefully we have a good year.
All right, have a good holiday.
Thank you.
That's Kevin Harvick. He's done for today, but looking forward to a pretty bright future.
Kevin Harvick is out of the race. There is the field stopped over along the turn 3 and backstretch area. For those of you into the internet, www.DaytonaUSA.com is the address of Daytona USA, and I understand the results of this series are posted on there.
On Monday, they will get all the information down to them. It'll be posted on there, so you can find out all you need to know about what happened at Winter Heat on the internet. You know, I'm surprised that Bill Weber didn't complain about how cold it was.
I'm surprised at that, too.
I really was shocked. We said it cooled off 10 degrees, and I'm shocked that Weber didn't complain about the weather.
He always takes the opportunity to complain about anything. You would think he would complain about the weather, huh?
Must be warm out there.
Must be where he is. Okay, well, the cleanup continues here at Tucson, and we'll take another break and be back in just a moment with more. Greg Biffle leads here at Tucson. Some parts you can see it shining on the mountain beyond the backstretch, but right here at the racetrack it's pretty cloudy and the temperature is dropping off. And the top 5 that we showed you going to break was not correct. Carl Trimmer is not the leader of the race. He is, however, running back in the 9th position. The top 5 are Biffle, Monroe, Sewell, Hibner, and Grosskreutz. Let's find out more on Carl Trimmer from Bill.
With his son and crew chief Rick Trimmer, obviously your car is not what you were hoping for here in the second half.
Yeah, that's right. The engine's letting down on us. We think it's a control box at high RPM. The thing's missing real bad on us, so it doesn't look good from here, but we're still going to give it a go.
And you had an engine problem in qualifying.
Yeah, we did. We had a little bit of a sputter in the engine, and we found out that our flow levels were a little bit too low, but now we think it's electrical, and we're having trouble with our MSC electrical box. But I just want to tell Tim Kerrigan from Redline, we're sorry we couldn't win this thing for you, but maybe next time in Opal Spring Water in California. Thanks for all the help, and hey, 2 weeks we're going to come back and win it.
Okay, good luck then.
Thank you.
That's Rick Trimmer. His dad's out there on the track, not having the day he was hoping for. He's had a lot of great days here. This isn't one of them, but like Rick said, he's got another shot right after the first of the year.
Yes, we will take next weekend off to celebrate the holidays, but we'll be back in 2 weeks for the final late model race.
I know, folks, if you're watching that and you saw Rick Trimmer being interviewed by Bill Weber, talking about his dad being on the racetrack, and you saw that white hair that Rick had, said, no, there's something wrong there's something wrong. Well, folks, Carl Trimmer is 58 years old.
Yep.
I mean, he is about a little over a week ago became a great-grandfather, but he's still out here. He's still winning races, still is the track champion at Tucson Raceway Park in 1997, and is coming back to defend his crown in 98.
Yes, he is. Well, again, we remind you about the NASCAR 50th Anniversary Marathon that's coming up. The first will be starting at 9 o'clock Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. That's Christmas Eve, and it runs through Christmas Day. And then the second part will be on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. That begins at 6:30, whereas the one on Wednesday night begins at 9 o'clock. We have 14 different tracks represented, 14 different winners. We'll see 4 first-time winners during the marathon, and we will see 7 NASCAR Winston Cup champions win races during that marathon that Benny and I will host for you.
Some great races over the years.
As you can see, the field is moving again, and we are getting ready to go back to racing. Now, these laps are not counting since the red flag. We're frozen at 173, but we're about to get the green flag once again. And again, Michael Ray is between the leader, Greg Biffle, and second place, Sean Monroe.
He's out.
Boy, Biffle gets a great start, doesn't he?
He does. Every time this afternoon, he has gotten great starts and just driven off. Mark Grosskreutz there in the number 72. Got way up high a lap ago and got up into the lane where you go into the pit area, but is okay.
There's second, the 48 car. Sean Monroe, sponsored by Nitro Tech. On the hood of the car, John Sewell.
Use the brakes to turn this thing. So we can get you.
Sponsored by a radio station here in Tucson, as you can see, 99.5. 25 laps to go. There's Jeff Whitmer. The 70 car. He's a 4th place car. Also sponsored by a radio station here in town. And there's Grosskreutz. He's in 5th spot, the red 72. Sponsored by Wide World of Maps.
Take a look at where everybody is running right now. Already, Greg Biffle has put up a 1.8 second advantage, and now we have Hibner trying to get around John Sewell, but here comes Grosskreutz on the bottom.
Sewell, I don't know if something happened to his car, but you can see that he lost 4 or 5 car lengths off the second corner. Maybe he just got the car a little bit out of shape, because I thought Hibner was going to go by him. And Grosskreutz still struggling, trying to get by the 70 of Jeff Hibner. Once again, a battle for the 4th spot.
Side by side all the way around the racetrack. Neither giving an inch. Sweatman coming into the picture there in 61, but again, he is not on the lead lap. He's a lap down in 12th position. And Utz and Mears are battling too as Carl Trimmer looks on. This is the battle for 6th.
And Charles Utz got the car sideways off the 4th corner as Trimmer is now on the inside of Utz trying to take the spot away, and we've got a crash. Jeff Hibner has hit the wall with the right side off turn 2. And we can see that the damage to the right side of the car is extreme. Oh, tough break. A great run Hibner had going.
Boy, he sure did. He has performed well all afternoon. He's going to stay out there. I thought maybe taking the pits, but he's going to stay out there because we only have 17 more laps to go. But hats off to Jeff Hibner, who gave it a great run this afternoon. Let's take a look at it once again.
We saw Grosskreutz and Hibner running side by side, and there we see him come off the corner, off the second corner, and there's the contact between the 2 cars, just enough to, boom, send Hibner right in the wall.
Roger Mears Jr. was right behind him, but he avoided any contact, and Mears has moved up to 5th spot as Hibner rides it out. look at the interval between first and second.
Sean Monroe, the car in 48, he told me I had to mention Victory Circle race cars today.
Oh.
He said, because I don't have any money. I've got to go down and try to borrow some sheet metal from Craig Rodman at Victory Circle. So if you'll mention it, I might be able to get some free sheet metal. So, okay, Sean, I'm doing my part.
Here's the third place battle between Sewell in 99 and Grosskreutz in 72. By the way, Greg Biffle is going for his third straight winter heat late model victory. He won the last two last year and goes for number 3 here this afternoon. And if all goes as it has in the first part of this race, he's going to accomplish that. Only 12 more laps to go now.
12 more to go, and something has happened to Sewell's car. It's just not as good as it was earlier on.
Yellow, yellow. Once again, with 11 circuits to go, I don't see anything wrong on the racetrack, but here comes the pace car, nevertheless, to pick up Biffle. It could be more oil down on the racetrack. Since we don't see any car in trouble, we assume it is either debris or oil on the racetrack.
Well, I'm told that Jeff Hibner in the 70 car will be black flag when he comes by the NASCAR scoring stand. And they have black flag him, and they're saying that they believe he's losing some fluid.
And now we reach the 10-lap rule, Benny, and that means that these laps under caution do not count. We are frozen at lap 190.
They do not count, and we can see the damage to the right side of Hibner's car. Bill Weber, what you got on Jeff Hibner?
Yeah, Benny, they've been watching his car ever since he hit the wall. It was putting out a little bit of smoke in the last 2 laps. The NASCAR inspectors here on the backstretch were actually down on their hands and knees looking at the underneath portion of the cars that went by, and they feel he was dropping enough fluid on the track that they wanted to take a chance and get it dried off and get him off. They tried to wave him off the track back here, but he didn't acknowledge that, so they put out the yellow and put out the black.
Good. Thank you, Bill.
Now, one other thing about this restart, there will be no lead lap cars. Right now we have 11 cars, 12 cars. 11 cars.
Actually, 10, because Hibner was on the lead lap. He isn't anymore, so 10 cars on the lead.
Let me start over. There's also another rule here. We now have 10 cars on the lead lap. Those 10 cars will start nose to tail 1 through 10. All the lapped cars will be behind them.
See, you can't do it. You just set your mind to it.
Beginning to wonder.
Okay. That is true, and the lap cars are getting out of the way so that the first 10 can get nose to tail. We don't see a safety vehicle out on the racetrack to pick up any debris or fluid. What they're doing now is just trying to get the field aligned properly for the restart.
Looks like we got them to me.
It looks like that the safety officials, as you saw there, are a little bit cool down in the infield area.
They're lined up. Drop the rag. Let's go.
I think they're going to get the 1 to go signal this time. No, they're not either. Nope. We remain under caution. With just 10 laps to go now. As you can see, Jeff Hibner is on his way back to the racing surface.
Hey, you know what?
What?
He might be in the lead.
Well, that's right, because they stopped counting laps. Yeah.
He just might be in the lead lap.
I believe you're right. So there would be 11 cars in the lead lap.
Huh. Well, imagine that.
Now we're getting the signal for 1 more lap to go.
And Hibner will be able to pull up behind the lap cars.
He'll line up behind Dennis Fetter in number 14, who is the 10th place car at the moment. Meanwhile, Sean Monroe is hoping that he gets up there real close to Greg Biffle and that he can stay with Biffle in the last 10 laps of the race. But it has not been that way in the first laps. Here's the green, and we are back to racing. 10 laps to go here at Tucson. And a spin in turn number 2. Eric Sayer loops in number 53. No other car involved. Caution is out. Again, They did not complete that lap, so we're still at lap 190.
Well, you know, this could go on forever.
Yes, it could. But at least it gives the fans a green flag finish, for one thing, and makes it a little bit more exciting.
Now, you're talking about Dennis Fetter in the 14 car being the last. NASCAR is saying that he bumped the 53 car of Sayer, and Fetter has been black flagged, or is going to be as they come off the corner. He's going to be given the consultation flag. There he is. And in the flagman's hand, yes, it is.
Yep.
So he's got to report to the pit area.
And he is eating the black flag. As you can see, he's in the entrance to the pit area, back of turn number 2. So he'll go back there and have a conference with the NASCAR officials.
But once again, these laps don't count, so he can go back and, you know, he could actually go back and make a chassis adjustment, get a drink of water, and would not be penalized because these laps are not counting.
Greg Biffle there right behind the pace car. He ran some Repco Northwest Tour selected events in 1997 and finished 6th in the point standings. He is headed for the Craftsman Truck Series in 1998, driving for Jack Roush. So it's going to be very interesting, Benny. Everybody that's been watching Winter Heat for the last 2 years knows how good he is in a late model, and it's going to be interesting to see his adjustment to the trucks.
Yes, it is. He'll probably have an adjustment period with the radial tires because all the racing that he's done just this year, this afternoon, has been on the bias ply tires. And all of us know that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series run the radials. So I'm sure that will be a little bit of an adjustment period. But I think that Biffle will, before the year is over, stand up and let everybody know just what a very good race car driver he is.
Well, they're still adjusting the lineup for the restart here. So we'll take a break and be back with more in just a minute from Tucson. 190 laps and holding at the moment. ESPN2's Winter Heat. Hey, that's right. The Arizona Wildcats were the champions of the NCAA basketball tournament in 1997. Well, we're going to try to get this thing finished again as the green flag is about to come out for the final 10 laps. Here it is. Once again with a good restart. Puts about 3 or 4 car lengths between himself and Sean Monroe. 9 laps to go.
And right now, the 72 car, Mark Grosskreutz, might be faster than those 2 cars directly in front of him. Sean Monroe, the 48, and the 99 of John Sewell. But getting by them on this 1/3 mile racetrack is going to be difficult. And there comes Trimmer. He goes by Roger Mears, takes over a spot, puts him up into the 5th spot.
So Trimmer showing some late race muscle here after struggling most of the afternoon. Everybody is running in the 85-mile-an-hour barrier. 85.4 for Biffle, 85.0 for Monroe, and 85.1 for Sewell that last lap. Grosskreutz was at 84.7 miles an hour.
Now we see Charles Utz going by Roger Mears, or trying to get by. And there comes Herschel McGriff Jr., an 18 car trying to get by. So Roger Mears losing a couple of spots right here at the end of the race as McGriff just slides up in front of Mears.
McGriff goes to 7th position, Mears back to 8th. And this time around, there will be 4 more laps to go as we're on board with Charles Utz. There he is in the 66. He moved up to 6th spot.
There's Eric Zayer. He's trying to get by the 11th car. Meanwhile, there is a battle for 2nd spot. Sean Monroe in 48. 99 of Sewell, and the 4th place car is Grosskreutz in 72.
Less than 3 laps to go.
Sean.
It's a 1.8-second advantage that Biffle has over Sean Monroe and Sewell and Grosskreutz.
Too high coming off this corner. Come on,
Sewell trying to position himself to the inside of Sean Monroe, but he can't do it. This time around, the white flag will come out. Here's the white for Greg Biffle. One more lap to go. We'll watch this battle for second and third position as Monroe, Sewell, and Grosskreutz try to battle it out here to the finish. Biffle, meanwhile, is
You're awesome. That's all I can say.
winning the race, and Monroe finishes in second spot, Sewell third, Grosskreutz fourth, and Carl Trimmer finishes in fifth position. Greg Biffle wins once again.
Man, he's got this little racetrack figured out, hasn't he?
Sure does. So the first race of the late model series is over, and here are the top 5. Biffle, Monroe, Sewell, Grosskreutz, and Trimmer will be back to talk to the winner in a moment. Victory here in the Winston Challenge Triple Crown race at Tucson Raceway Park, part of NASCAR Winter Heat. Let's go to the victory lane and Bill Weber.
Well, Greg won 2 races in Winter Heat last year, but didn't win the championship. Today, a major step toward this shortened series. You won the race, and you're leading the points, obviously. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that first one got rained out. You know, it's a lot of fun to come out here and race in the wintertime. And it's neat to be back here with all these guys we raced with here the last couple of years.
It's always fun to race when you race like you did today. You led every lap. You were great on restart. You had the field covered. You had a great day.
Yeah, we were a lot better the second half. You know, it's kind of hard to tell, but you know, I was running the car a lot easier the second half. The first half, I was really trying to put it down. You know, pretty loose. And
Monroe with a cameo there.
Daddy kicked our butt today, and that's just the way it goes.
That's a technical racing term, isn't it?
It is. I think it is. You know, he got into me. He was going down the backstretch under yellow. You know, so I don't know what that is.
It's the only time he could catch you. It's the only time he could catch you. Obviously, you'd like to win the next one and sweep this and be a 2-time Winter Heat champion.
Yeah, I'd like to. I don't know of anybody that's won 2 of the Winter Heat championships in the late model division, but I'd sure like to be the first, you know. And really looking forward to next season, you know, with the Granger number 50 truck. And with Roush Racing, the people have been great. And I want to thank Kenco Construction, Vern McGran, the whole McGran family. They've just been great. Brought us out here. Performance Engine, you know, hooked us up with a motor, and it just runs flawless. I mean, just absolutely perfect. Roger picked the second set of tires for the second half. He says, these are it. He says, you'll rail on these. And it was perfect. It was perfect.
It sure was. Big win for Greg Biffle.
Yes, indeed. Let's take a look at the unofficial results here with Sean Monroe second, followed by Sewell, Grosskreutz, Trimmer, the top 5, then Utz, McGriff, Sayer, Mears, and Fetter.
We see Jeff Hibner finished in 11th. Tom Sweatman, the first car a lap down. Well, as a matter of fact, the only car 1 lap down in 12th. Then Aaron Newport, Michael Ray, Craig Rodman, 15th. Now 16 through 28. All these, we see 18 through 28 out of the race. Duncan and Mendenhall both many laps down.
And the top 10 in points, of course, will reflect the finishing position here this afternoon. Monroe comes to the final late model race, which will be 2 weeks from today. 10 laps down, and Sewell is 15.
10 points.
Points down, yeah.
Yeah, those numbers are points down, not the amount of points they won today.